I want to hear his thoughts about this from the perspective of a raider and someone who's been playing this game a hell of a lot longer than I have. Yeah, his chat is XFFing, XDD tree, Alu, Wine Time, Baldo.
Early October. Let's take a look.
Yeah, Zeem's Bell. I use that one a lot.
Early October.
That didn't look like a bell.
Early October. Let's take a look. I think it's going to be on the 3rd or the 10th. It's got to be the
Red hair.
Why not the 3rd? Because you have to take whatever they say and push it back as long as possible. That's just 14. You would think it would be on the 3rd, right? But I said early October. Makes sense.
10th.
Early October is the first 2 weeks. Mid-October is the 2nd week and the 3rd week. And late October is always the last. New story.
Math.
And I'm gonna be real with you guys. I stopped paying attention to the story in Walker on the last patch. It just was so boring, man. It just dragged ass.
It kind of, to an extent, I think it kind of is as well. Like the Zero Golbez storyline is not as good as maybe I would want it to be or I was hoping for, but it's really hard to follow 6-0. I'm really glad that we have a phenomenal raid storyline that's happening on the Alliance raid and the base raid. Because the MSQ to me hasn't been fantastic. I like Zero, but it's been pretty slow, which I guess is good. I don't know. It can be good. And like the fact that we're like bringing characters like Reen and stuff like that back into the fold essentially by bringing them in for these quests is really cool. And it's exploring some of the cosmological things that I've always kind of wanted to know the answers to, like what happens if you link 2 shards together? Can you rejoin 2 shards together? What would happen? Like, what is Golbez really trying to do? Who is Golbez? Is one of them a shard of us? Is it previous Golbez before Durante whatever became Golbez, or and all that bullshit? Or what was it, right? So we'll see.
Enjoyed Endwalker's story actually, and I feel like I would enjoy other expansions too. Like I already know I'd like Shadowbringers just because I like Emmett. I'm also an Emmett simp, and I think I'd like Heaven's Ward.
Okay, well, Xeno confirmed Emmett simp. I did not know that. That's good. That's good to know.
Oh, don't worry, streamers. Emmett has 2 hands.
Too. Like I think Endwalker overall was a decent expansion. I don't think it was bad. It had pretty much everything in it, right? Except for like a Boja area. Like it was decent. I didn't think it was bad.
And a separated trial series. Those are the 2 main things. I don't know that I necessarily like the trial series being integrated into the MSQ, especially since they were just bosses that I fought in FF4. So it wasn't that exciting, but I found the characters, once we got to Rubicante, pretty relatable and stuff like that. So I don't know.
For me,
but overall it wasn't the most exciting thing, and as we've discussed many times, the exploration zone is sorely missed. I think that's very evident, and I think that when you really process where that exploration zone most likely would have been if they did one, because it's Manderville. It's Manderville. Like that would have had to have been it. I feel like if we weren't going to Manderville, then what the fuck else were we gonna do? And that's a missed opportunity, unfortunately. I hope that they can find a way for us to go there at some point in some fashion, because that would have been a phenomenal exploration zone or set of exploration zones and stuff. But I get why it wasn't done, but it still sucks that we don't have it.
He actually wasn't about Boja. The biggest thing for me was how like barely any of the jobs changed. The biggest thing for me was like Dark Knight didn't really change. Gunbreaker changed for the worst. Paladin changes were definitely good, but it only took like the whole fucking expansion for them to get that way. And then Warrior didn't change at all. Like all of the jobs are so samey now. I mean, it's a good and bad thing. It makes balancing easier, but it also means that like you need to make the rotations like more interesting or something, man. New challenges, Myths of the Realm. Yo, this looks sick. This looks awesome.
Yes.
I am excited for this. I'm gonna do this on patch day. Yeah,
yes.
This is gonna be fun. Lunar Subterrane. This looks really awesome too, man. Like, look how cool this looks. The environment in here looks awesome. The
Agreed.
Abyssal Fracture. So this is the trial. The Dread Void Sends Aromas, driven by Ozja's longing to return home, is now poised to break the barrier between worlds. So the Warrior of Light stands fast against the darkness, a flickering beacon of hope. But should they fail, the 13th's deliverance will prove the source's destruction. And then, yo,
I'm not super impressed with Zeromus so far, by the way. I'm not really sure how I feel about it. It's like, I just want to see what it looks like. But straight up, chat, if you watch me play FF4, I think Zeromus might be my least favorite final boss ever. Like, what the fuck? It was such a fucking piece of shit boss right at the end, man. This huge fucking scale up in difficulty, this gimmick ass bullshit at the end. I never killed Xenosys. I just watched how the game ended. And that's the truth.
Excited for, yo, this patch, this patch looks pretty good. Yo, I was excited for this shit. Bruh, this is gonna be sick, dude. I mean, the patch looks good, man. It does. I mean, it's not the best, but I mean, it's good. So you got Thornton Unreal. Okay, a new Primal. So that's kind of cool. This new dungeon or whatever. You know, I mean, this looks cool. This is a Criterion, is it? Nah, this is just a new dungeon, right? So, I mean, it looks cool, but it's, gonna be easy, just like every other dungeon. But this looks awesome. Like, this picture right here looks badass. And then this is just story. So, like, I mean, this is good. Yeah, and then like, trial players are going to be able to do ultimates. Dude, that's going to be sick. Dude, they're going to have access to every portion of the game, except for, like, Criterion, but who gives a fuck about that shit? Can't they already do New Cobb? No, I don't think so. Nah, because it's in Stormblood, right? Stormblood, in my opinion, was the best expansion. It had the best...
Wow, holy shit. I mean, I guess from a Raider's perspective, this isn't that surprising, but I do not hear this take very often. Let me sit up in my chair for this. What?
Who gives a fuck about that shit? Can't they already do Uwu and New-Cobb? No, I don't think so. Nah, because it's in Stormblood, right? Stormblood, in my opinion, was the best expansion. It had the best raids. It had the best 24-man. It had Eureka. It had the Palace of the Dead stuff. The only thing in the expansion that I didn't like was the, well, not accounting for the story,
chat. Here we go.
I mean, I don't like I don't base an expansion off of the story. But the only thing I didn't like were the trials, were the primals. Nah, I don't base the expansion off of the story because you can only do the story once. This game is meant to be played over and over and over and over and over again. All of this stuff in the game, man, is supposed to be repeatable. Because if it's not repeatable, you do it once and there's no reason to do it again. Like once you clear the raid tier, there's no reason to do it again. Unless you do Criterion or an ultimate. But who the fuck gives a shit about Criterion? Like, so basically what I'm trying to say here is that a lot of the reason I still play Final Fantasy is because of you guys. So I play with you guys and I play with friends. This game just doesn't have enough to keep you sub to it. For me. Because like all of this really simple, easy shit that they put in, like don't get me wrong, like I think this dungeon looks really cool, but this is such a waste of potential because this dungeon could probably be badass, but instead they're going to make it brain dead easy to cater to casuals. And that's fine. That's fine. But they don't give, like basically they give a vast majority of their content is so that anybody can do it. And while that's good, and I'm not saying that they should take it away, they just need to add more on stuff that, this is going to sound mean, but not everybody can do. Yeah, they need to add some stuff that is a little harder, that not everybody can do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. And I don't think he's talking about shit that's like, I don't think he's talking about ultimate level or above ultimates. Yo, it's Payday and I haven't been around a lot because Subnautica freaks me out, lol. Yo, I've been done, Cheermancy. I've been done with it. But thank you very much for being here now, and thanks so much for the 10 gifted subs. But yeah, mid-core is practically what Olive said almost everywhere. Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. And I feel like that's what he's going to get into as well, is that it's just more about like between the casual and ultimates, because I'm going to be honest with you guys, this is just my take from a shitty fucking raider who's only got ultimate legend, okay? I think ultimates are like almost too hard. Dude, like ultimates are insanely hard. Like most players are never ever going to clear them. Like never. Even the easy ones. Like it's insane. Like they're such hard fucking content that like it's crazy to go from like from you know, extreme trials to savage to ultimate is like just a fucking insane fucking curve. I think the people are the hard part. I disagree, dude. No, the fights are hard. Ultimates are fucking hard, dude. If we're really gonna try to sit around and say that ultimates are not hard content, you're smoking crack. There's no chance. Like it is the hardest content I've ever done in an MMO. Hands down, it's not even close. It's like not even contested. 17 minutes to 20 minutes of just pain for 700 to 1500 pulls. Like no, bro. Most people cannot do that. They do not have the endurance to do a fight like that. No, they are hard, but getting 8 people to do that is hard. I mean, I'm not arguing that, but I think these things are like unrelated. But like at the end of the day, like they're very hard content, and like take it from someone who's done a lot of hard content in World of Warcraft. Ultimates are definitely more difficult than anything that I did in WoW. And I did everything in WoW up until the end of fucking BFA. So it's like, it's pretty brutal. So there definitely needs to be like more mid-core content for sure. And like I've said before, RuneScape is a game that has fantastic mid-core content. The scale up from casual entry content to master content is so, there's so many options for what people can go and do at different skill levels that require different skill sets, like prayer flicking and character movement and switching gear and combat styles in the middle of combat. Like, there's so many different ways that they can make an encounter more difficult, and because of that, the mid-core in OSRS and old school RuneScape is fucking phenomenal. So yeah, I definitely agree with Zeems here that like there needs to be more harder stuff that exists, but in my opinion, it exists between Ultimate or Savage even, and like casual, you know? Criterion was a good opportunity, but it's such a fucking blown opportunity because the loot is negligible and unimportant. Like, I liked it because remember when they announced Criterion and a lot of the Savage Raiders were like, okay, sick, like harder 4-man content. This is gonna be dope. Like, let's get into it. It sounded cool. We were excited. We get into it. Okay, the mechanics are unique and different and the music fucking bangs and like, it's cool. It's got, you know, when you do Criterion, it's got like the set layout and stuff, but it was difficult. The last boss had some complex teleportation mechanics and they were hard to fucking understand. And the rewards were just nothing. The rewards were just nothing. It's like, how do you make a whole system, this whole game type essentially, that is in and of itself pretty fucking good? As a system, it's pretty good. But like, how did you flounder so heavily on the rewards for it? Especially when, at least when I talk to people in the community, there seems to be a general consensus on what the rewards should include, which is upgrade items, twines and shines and stuff like that, you know? But because you can't get anything that's actually fucking useful from it, you don't have any reason to do it. Rewards are not worth it most of the time. You can't even sell it. Well, the one thing you can sell is like the throne. If you get the throne as a drop from like Criterion or Savage or whatever it drops from, then there's that. But like, is loot the only reason Criterion's not liked? I just do reclears because I think they're fun and helping people clear is the reward for me. People just want carrots to chase to do content. Yeah, man, that's pretty normal. That's like the essence of an MMO. That's almost like an essence of most video games with any type of progression system. Yeah, you want the carrot on the stick. I think it's asinine to say that we don't, you know? Why wouldn't you? Especially if the content is aimed at being more difficult. Because remember, this isn't like casual content that you're just gonna walk in with a random group and breeze through no problem. You might have to really communicate with one another to get it cleared. So if you're going to make the content that level of difficulty, why are you not going to reward people for their time? I think the loot you get from Criterion shouldn't be sellable instead of upgrade gear. I'm not sure what that means. The rewards are why you do them. So even though I really like doing the content, there's no reason to come back once you're done, especially once you've already worked out all the routes and stuff. Yeah. I can raid the same thing 150 times just for glam. Did it for near raid, but without anything, well, what, you know, why would you do it? What value really is Gil? I just feel items are not specially unique enough at all in this game. Tristan, from someone who plays old school RuneScape and definitely understands the idea of item identity and item power, and like if you play RuneScape, you know the significance of a pair of dragon boots. You know what I mean? You know why it's good. You know why you might want it, right? If you play old school RuneScape, you know the significance of a dragon scimitar, right? Like, I can give whatever example from RuneScape, right? Bandos tassets or Bandos chestplate or something, right? Like, there's a lot of identity there and a lot of reason for why you might want to go for something like that. I get your take about like items not being special or unique, and I will say I think that the game has a big opportunity that was brought to my attention more recently, and that is that there is not really, currently anyway, any popular area where players hang out at all where you can get on mounts. And one of the like most common, some of the coolest rewards in the game are mount rewards. And so to not be able to get on those mounts, hang out with your friends in a social place that naturally you know, people gather at for whatever reason. It's kind of like a weird thing where like in other games you have that. In World of Warcraft, you can mount in like pretty much every city, right? So if you want to just be on mounts, you can. It's like there's some social aspects, some restrictions in that way where like some of the interesting things that you unlock, you don't ever really get to share or show anybody because every time that you're in the town, you can't get on it. So even though, you know, I have my triple triad card mount, which let's be honest, one of the reasons why we do this content, no matter if it's triple triad or whether if it's, you know, ultimates or glamour or a house, is because, you know, we care about it, and probably because, you know, it's a way to show that we have done something, right? It's like a gratification kind of thing. At least I think so. And so when you're not able to share that with other people, like you kind of lose part of what the essence of an MMO is. So just something to think about, I guess, as far as there's a lot of really unique and cool mount rewards in this game and not a lot of ways to like actually share them with other people. So Blanathan, thank you very much and welcome back, man, for the 8-month resub. Besides the loot, I think Criterion version should be more similar to extreme difficulty and the Savage version of proper Savage difficulty. I could get behind that. I would say Criterion should be its own progression like Raids Trials when you have a normal, hard, and extreme mode. Maybe. I miss hard dungeons, y'all. I'm a baby, but I wish there was more content at the EX level. I agree with you. I agree. It's fucking... Look, don't take this the wrong way, anybody that I play with, but like, I think that we know that there gets to be a point in the content where maybe some of the people that I play with consistently aren't really able to continue. And this is what Arthurs was talking about earlier, where he was saying like, you might get to a point where like the content that you were doing with people consistently, you kind of get to a level of content where maybe they're not quite equipped to do that. And I think that it kind of sucks because I want to be able to play with my friends. And like in World of Warcraft, just because I did mythic raiding didn't stop me from doing content with my friends, because Mythic Plus at least gave me the opportunity to do something a little more scaled to what the group could handle, right? We're like, I feel like, I don't know, I kind of struggle in this game when it's not, if it's not Savage or Ultimate, then it's like EX Trials. And once you get the mount from that, it's like, why do you even want to do that anymore? Like there's, I don't know, it just kind of sucks. I wish there was like a little bit more. My only problem with this, there needs to be more content conversations. It's coming from people that play the job all day for a living. I don't agree with that. And the devs have been saying for years that the game is designed to be walked away from. Right, you can definitely walk away from the game, but I think the argument is, why do you want to walk away from it? Do you want to walk away from the game because you're gratified in your achievements, or satisfied in your achievements, and you want to take a break because of that type of reason? Or are you taking a break because you feel deflated because the content that exists in the game is either so obscure, doesn't involve your friends in any capacity, or is only really significantly playable like 1 or 2 times through? That's a different reason for wanting to step away from the game. Is it healthy to be able to step away no matter what? Yes, obviously, and I don't think anyone's arguing that. But I think the discussion more is about like that it's the reason for which you are stepping away from the game. And if it's due to apathy and boredom, that is a little bit different than a sense of satisfaction and just wanting to go and do other things. Like, but I also don't agree with your take that it's coming from people that play the job all day, that play the game all day for a living. That's actually not true. Do you understand how many hours a day I actually play Final Fantasy XIV? Even before I started to feel this way specifically, I don't play all day every day. I hardly play really at all anymore. So, and you have plenty of people in this chat that would say the same thing. They're not streamers. They don't do this for a living. They don't do it as a job, but they still feel the same way. So I don't really know if that's like a fair assumption that only people that play constantly want more content. I don't think that's true. I don't know. I just think that the content that is there should just be more engaging and rewarding. I'm honestly a little exhausted with people acting like this isn't a normal point in a patch cycle to be playing less. That's also true. But it wasn't just now. I mean, I've begun feeling this way over the last several patches. It's not like we hit 6.4, you know, and all of a sudden here we are. I think that it's wild, Pyro, that you're already playing less since you started somewhat recently. Well, I mean, it's been 2.5 years. It ain't that recent, Jimbo. I mean, it's recent, sure, but it's not that recent. 2.5 years, that's been a long time. It's been a long time, guys. It doesn't feel like that much time has passed, but it's been a long time. So, but I understand what you're saying. I also did come to this game burned out from another MMO. So, you know, there's some like shared tiredness there. I don't think the amount you play should be the issue. Rather, the quality of the content you can choose to do. And IMO, a lot of the content I can choose to do right now is meh. Yeah, like I could go and do Island Sanctuary, and that's been consistently updated and like made better, but do I find that content fun? No. Not really. It's micromanaging and I don't know, kind of annoying. After the first 10 levels, I was like, meh. I think I'm done.
Make every fight like an ultimate. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that we've had 4 turns of a raid tier for like 10 fucking years. Like 10 years, man. And then on the last fight, they split the fight into 2. So now there's 2 fights. So it's like there's kind of like 4.5, but you don't even get loot for one of them. And the loot system already sucks in this game.
Yo, that's kind of a good point. I didn't even think about that. You basically have to fight a boss that you get no loot from.
On the last fight, they split the fight into 2.
I didn't even
so
think about that.
Fights. So it's like there's kind of like 4.5, but you don't even get loot for one of them. And the loot system already sucks in this game. So it's like you have to do a fight that is arguably harder than...
True. Yep. Some would argue that P8SP1 is harder than P8SP2, and I would almost agree. I almost think P4SP1 is almost harder than P4SP2, because Pinax is fucking cancer. No one fucking likes that mechanic.
The quote-unquote hardest fight, and you don't get any loot for it. I'm just saying that this game is amazing, and it's 10 out of 10 for like newer players and people that have played the game for like a year or 2 years. But after like, I don't know, the second year, I don't know, you guys tell me. You got to remember, my perspective on this game is a lot different, okay?
True.
Are there any people in the chat that have played for like 2 or 3 years and you already know the patterns, you're already running out of stuff to do? Now, if you're not one of those players, if you still find stuff to do, then that's awesome, man.
It's pretty much nailed that head of the nail right there. 2 or 3 years. That's me right in the middle there. And I'm already used to the patch cycles, how stuff comes out, etc.
3 years and you
normal
already know the patterns, you're already running out of stuff to do. Now, if you're not one of those players, if you still find stuff to do, then that's awesome, man. Like that is awesome. But if
a lot of the times though, when I play this game and I find stuff to do, I find myself coming up with my own things to do rather than like having things to do. Do you guys understand the difference that I mean there? Is like the self-creativity, like the player's initiative is what brings the content sometimes, you know, like clubs and stuff, or like hanging out, glam competitions, etc. I've been playing for 9 years. I still love this game. Well, I don't think anyone is arguing that. I don't think anyone is arguing or saying that they don't love the game still. That's not what's being argued. You can love things and get tired of them. Trust me. A lot of people that get divorced feel that way. Okay? Setting your own goal turn RuneScape into what it is as well. Yeah, but I have a lot of incentive for why I do the things in RuneScape that I do. I don't go and kill Hydra just because I think Hydra's fun. First off, I do think Hydra's fun, but I'm killing Hydra because I want the fucking pet. And if the pet wasn't a thing, I would not be farming Konar Slayer and skipping tasks to try to get Hydra tasks because I want the pet. You understand? So that's like the difference, is like I'm heavily incentivized to do it because the reward is really encouraging and it's fun to engage in. Whereas like in this game, I feel like sometimes it's one or the other. I feel like I'm either engaging in something that's miserable because the reward is fucking awesome. So like the Savage Mount or Ultimate Weapons. and I'm not enjoying it, but I'm getting the reward, or I'm doing something that is like enjoyable, but there's no fucking reward. And there's like no reason to actually do it. That's kind of what I feel like. I feel like I don't really ever have both, where I'm really enjoying what I'm doing and really excited about the reward. I feel like that's kind of rare in Final Fantasy for me now. But that's just from my perspective and in the type of way that I play the game. So, you know, that doesn't mean that that's like a fact or like how you should feel about the game. That's stupid. No. If you are enjoying it and you don't agree with what I'm saying, then great. I'm a legacy player and I just log in to do the current raid tier. Well, yeah, raid logging is a phenomenon that's commonly talked about. It's not a new thing, raid logging, and I used to do it in World of Warcraft, but you know what? I loved the raids, so at least there was that, you know? In Warlords of Draenor, when I was just a raid logger, I loved the raids. I'd log in and I'd be stoked to go fight fucking Iron Maidens. I'd be stoked to go fight Black Hand again. I'd get on and I'd be stoked to run HFC again, and that was like just because the rewards were good and the content was fun to engage in, but outside of that, there was no content for me to do, so I just didn't play the game. And that's not because I hated the game or disliked the game, it was just not fulfilling enough to play it. And I think that at the end of the day, like, we all play games because it evokes it gives us some kind of feeling, right? Like, whether that's accomplishment because you unlock something that you really want, maybe it's social interaction because you hang out with friends on there, maybe it's just the grind. Maybe there's just something about setting a goal and achieving it that really makes you want to play. Maybe it's collecting, you know, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, but like, we all have a different reason for why we want to play. And at the end of the day, if that need, if that drive isn't, if that desire isn't being met, then that's not your fault and you can't be blamed for that. Whatever you want out of the game is what you want out of the game. If it's not being met, then that is what it is, right? So there's going to be completely different reasons why people do and don't want to keep playing the game. And that's just all there is to it. Like, we just can't like take it personally, get like offended about the opinions, because if someone's like, I play the game every day and I love it, then like, there's just absolutely no reason to clap back at that kind of person or do that type of shit, right? Unless it's like, unless, you know, you're expressing your opinion and they're doing it to have a dissenting opinion, obviously, right? That's like a different situation. But people also do that because they, you know, we've had this discussion before, because they want people to love the thing that they love. And, you know, when people are saying bad things about the thing that they love, it doesn't make them feel good. It's like someone talking shit about your favorite band, right? For some of us, it's not going to affect us whatsoever. Some people don't give a literal fuck. Some people will be like, well, I really like them. Like, why don't you like them? And it becomes a discussion, right? So
Eventually, you're going to be in this spot, man, where you've done everything in the game and you realize they really...
Or you've done everything that you're capable of doing, because there will be people that do everything, like, except ultimates. And like, at that point, some people will literally just be like, nah, like they like, I can't, I'm not going to do it. Or maybe they just don't want to. Maybe they just flat out do not want to. So keep in mind that like doing all the content in the game does not mean always literally doing everything. It means what you're interested in, inclined to, incentivized to do, or what you're capable of doing. So just keep that in mind when Zeems is talking here, because that's implied, I think, with you know, I think he would say, obviously that would be the same thing, but yeah.
And like that is awesome. But eventually, you're going to be in this spot, man, where you've done everything in the game and you realize they really don't add much content to this game. Like, I know that sounds crazy, right? Because look, you got this dungeon here, you got this 24-man, you got the new story, you got this new trial, and you got the Unreal. And I know that sounds crazy that they don't add very much. Okay, well, this has already been in the game before. Now it's fine, because this content is supposed to be for people that haven't experienced it. So like, I'm sure there's a lot of you in chat that have never done this when it was current, right? Because you just weren't playing in Heaven's Ward.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Me, for example.
This fight in Heaven's Ward, this was one of the best trials they've ever made. This one right here. So you guys,
I would argue that it still is. If you go back and do it on mid-eye level no echo, it's not going to be as hard as it was on release, I know, but it's fucking fantastic. It is fantastic. So if you haven't done it, I would highly recommend you try out the Unreal when it comes out, because it is a really good extreme.
are gonna be able to experience.
It took us a lot of attempts to kill it my first time.
Ever made in this game.
Yep.
Like, this is so fucking cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is
Pteranodon
awesome.
has entered
But
the
here's
chat.
the problem.
What's up, Cass?
There's no reason to do this after the first time. I mean, because the Fox rewards suck. Most of them suck, and you can sell them anyway. So you can actually get this shit and not even fucking do it. And then there's this. There's no reason to do this at all.
I actually have purchased most of the Unreal rewards instead of buying them. I've purchased them with Gil. Most of the time.
Unless you just want to experience it, because you already know it's going to drop a weapon that's going to be fucking useless. This dungeon, like I said, I think this dungeon looks cool. Like, just based on this picture, I think it looks awesome. Kind of reminds me of the final levels of Palace of the Dead, right? But it's going to be easy as fuck. I can already tell you this.
The Fox rewards are a great way to make Gil. Very true. Yep, and that's an inverse thing. You can buy them, but you can also sell them. And that honestly, I'm going to be honest, as someone who has like sugar daddies like Taro around who just throw Gil at me for no good reason, it doesn't really give me much incentive to like want to do the content to unlock it myself. But that's also unique in that, you know, people do that because I'm a streamer. Not everyone has that experience, right? So my experience certainly is not representative of a large amount of people, okay? I'm very aware of that, so.
In here on my warrior alone, I can just do the entire dungeon. What does it matter? You know, you could do.
It's all Taro's fault. It really is. It really is. It's all Taro. It's all Taro. Yep, as long as I send the feet pics, I get whatever I want.
With 40 PS, man. You know, what does it matter? You know, and this, they put so much work into this awesome, you know, like I mean, look at this, dude. This looks amazing. At least I think so. But you do this one time. Like, that's it. Like, that's the problem that this game's had. You do it like one time and then you don't have to give a shit. That's it. You don't even have to do it the one time. That's the problem. Look, guys, you know, I understand people do this. People do this stuff for glamour and, you know, this for glamour. Okay. So you do it a couple times. You're coming out with this major patch, because this is a major patch. And this major patch, you can do everything in it in 2 days. 1 day.
Yeah.
Not even a day. Like, for me, I'm going to do all of this shit in like fucking 5 hours or whatever. The longest it's going to take is going to be however long it takes to kill the primal, which is going to be what, 2 lockouts max? We'll say 3 lockouts for the primal. And then this is a well, okay. If I go in with you guys, this is going to take the primal probably. But, see, that's my point though. A lot of this content, man, and it kind of makes me feel bad for the developers a little bit, because they put so much work into
They really do.
And it's not. Basically, I don't think that it lasts as long as it should. I have a lot of respect for this game and the developers, man. Like, this is my favorite game, like, of all time. It's just because I've played it for so long, and I've said this.
Rob, I'm still in Heaven's Ward. What am I doing?
This game is the game that always could
playing the game, baby. Playing through one of the best parts of it.
Better. Over the years, they've added stuff. They added Boja. They added large-scale content. They added Criterion. They added the.
And you know what? That content was requested enough from you guys and sounded interesting enough to me that I actually went back and went out of my way to go unlock those separate zones, get their entire storylines, get invested in them, you know, build my character up with the levels in the zone, etc., etc. That Brothers Fight was anime worthy. Oh yeah.
The Unreal. You know, they've added stuff, but the issue is it just takes so fucking long, man. It takes so long. Just want to make normal and savage version of every piece of content, including dungeons and alliance raids, and actually have rewards unlike Criterion. The reward system in Final Fantasy XIV has always been absolute fucking abysmal. Like back.
Yeah, I really agree. And they're going to be changing some of it in 6.5. But yeah, the rewards from Savage raiding are if you're not getting spooned loot because you're a streamer, it's gotta be just miserable. Like when I did P8 SP2, when the summoner tome dropped, I just got it because that was the summoner, right? I just got it. And then they were like, you can have the chest coffer. So I just got my chest piece. I was like, okay, easy, sick. Oh, we're done, right? If you don't have that, if you can't do that, oh man, it has gotta be fucking miserable.
Back in the day, the loot
It's
system
gotta be
used to
miserable.
it used to have a couple better things that they actually took away.
Especially if you're a tank or healer. Right, because you're funneling gear to the DPS. Because 9 times out of 10, they're gonna be the way that you kill the fight easier. Ugh.
Back in the day, trials would drop accessories in addition to
Alec,
weapons.
no kidding.
Well, some would drop weapons, some
More
would
than
drop
one roll, you're
accessories.
fucked.
The accessories were BIS a couple times.
Your gunbreaker?
Why can't
Hell
BIS
yeah.
Primal?
You've been watching and learning from me? What? Hopefully I haven't spoiled you on anything. Sorry, I'm not trying to talk over Zeems too much here. I do want to hear what he has to say. Even as a non-streamer, all Savage Loot just gets invalidated when the next crafter... Wolfery, that's kind of... You know, initially I thought I liked that, but I always feel like my gear is permanently irrelevant. Because you're totally right. As soon as the next tier drops, it's either a new set of crafted or something, you know, something like that. Yeah, that sucks to hear though, that even as a non-streamer, like, it kind of feels the same way. It's a cycle and the crafted gear is meant to be the entry point for gear for the next cycle. Yeah. I get where it fits. There's just so much gear. There's just so much gear in this game, dude. It's crazy. By the time I get a full set, most of the gear is irrelevant. Neon, that's true. That's how I feel as well. As a pentacrafter myself, I thank you for your purchase. Ha! I mean, current BIS will carry you to 98 in the next expansion. Yeah, but it's not like that content's gonna be hard anyway. I mean, it's not like if you go in there without BIS gear that it's gonna be hard anyway. There's no reason IMO for the 24 man to have BIS eye level stuff. It's on a catch-up patch, and by that time the raid tier is already done. All right, this is gonna be a hot take, chat. You might not like this, but one of the things that comes to my mind is have a primary source of gear, i.e. Savage, and give upgrade items and shit in the other content.
Fucking abysmal. Like back in the day, the loot system used to have a couple better things that they actually
24 man already gives the tome upgrade stuff. Yeah, it gives you those coins, huh?
took away. So like back in the day, trials would drop accessories.
Most things don't really require BIS. Aside from top tier stuff, true. But that's also, I guess, could be an issue, right? Like, why do I even want to get BIS? You could say the same thing in World of Warcraft. What is BIS for? Because to get BIS, typically you have to kill the final boss. So if you get that, then what does it really matter? And once you kill the final boss on Mythic, there isn't anything. There's no ultimates to go to. So, like, I can't sit and pretend like I wasn't satisfied getting that gear, but at the same time, that gear I felt like was relevant for a longer period of time. Maybe that's not true though. Maybe I'm looking at it through like rose-tinted glasses. I don't know.
In addition to weapons. Well,
Upgrade items and other content only makes sense if there was more mid-core content. Okay, I could get behind that. Criterion would be a reason to get BIS, except there's no reason to do it. Yeah. Yeah, dude, I really think Criterion is a really good opportunity for them. Seems like a lot of roads lead back to Criterion, and just incentivizing players to do it is all they have to do. The content, the system itself is good. You just have to make it good. You can upgrade tome gear with hunt currency, just saying. Right, so are you saying like that you don't even need the upgrades from the other content because you can just do hunts to get the currency? Hunt trains literally give you tome gear upgrades, right, but are we gonna sit around and talk like hunt trains are okay, now this is subjective. In my opinion, hunt trains are not fun. That's not fun content. That's not engaging, it's not difficult in any capacity, and it certainly is not fun. So, like, that's my opinion. That's the way that I feel about it. And so I don't want to do hunts. Criterion dungeons are so easy to fix. I'm baffled. I feel the same way, Ayawaxo. I feel the same way. It seems very simple. It just needs to have a good reason to do it.
Drop weapons, some would drop accessories.
Alliance raid gear should be upgradable. That's an interesting take. I actually kind of like hunts. I mean, I get why you would. It's one of the ways that we can flex our mounts. It's one of the ways to like interact with other people, you know? but it doesn't, still not fun for me. As Fidelis and Abyssos Bisky are still relevant for DSR and top until next X pack when the substats on gear catches up. Yeah, but only if you want to do the 2 hardest pieces of content in the game, you know? Like, it is an example and it's fair, but like, it's also the 2 hardest things in the whole game. Like, I don't know. I like stumbling into a hunt train, tracking the schedule, not so much. Yeah, like the hardcore hunt train side is not so fun. If I see a hunt train coming through, I'll always slash out like, hey, hunt train, like, good luck. And I'll say that, you know, because I like the social aspect of the game. I like just positively, I don't know, I like to encourage people. I like to be a positive influence on people, believe it or not. And so, you know, I like interacting with it when I see it. But as far as something to consistently interact with, some of the worst people that I've ever interacted with on Final Fantasy XIV were in hunt trains. And it's just like, ugh, so exhausting, dude. It's so exhausting. Like bullet trains, and people are constantly bitching, and then people are constantly talking shit to the people bitching. It's just so annoying. I really enjoy getting Biss to do the ultimates, but what about this patch? There's no reason to play the game past progression at this point, which sucks if you've done top. But Tom, I think one of the important things to recognize is that even if I had done every other piece of content, I'm gonna be straight up with you guys. And I don't think I've ever said this about a game before. I don't know if I'm good enough. I genuinely don't know if I'm a good enough of a player to do DSR and top. And that's coming from a long time Mythic WoW raider. I just don't know if I have the endurance. I don't know if I'm good enough. And so even when you get to the point where like you've done everything except ultimates, like some people can't, like I said earlier, some people still like they just can't do it. It's just beyond their scope. And like there's nothing wrong with that. Like not everyone can be an astronaut, you know, but like it is what it is. Even at bare minimum, I do tears for glam, but the gear this patch is ugly as sin. Yeah, it's honestly not about skill. It's about, can you commit the time to make it all muscle reflex, muscle memory? I think it is. I think that is part of skill though. I think committing through the endurance test and developing muscle memory is skill. I do think that that's part of it. I wouldn't separate those two things because I personally anyway see them very close to one another. I'm gonna be honest, the only ultimate that has weapons, there's only 2 ultimates that have weapons that are worth even getting, in my opinion, and that's T and that's top. All the other ultimate weapons look like shit. There, I said it.
The accessories were Biss a couple times. Why can't this primal drop an accessory that is equivalent to this item?
Okay, the Uwu ones are pretty good too. Unless you play a samurai, then fuck you.
Level. I don't understand. Why can't this new piece of content that is supposed to be catch-up content, why can't it drop a raid ring? That's the whole point. Like, it just perplexes me that you have the raid and it's like a set item level, and then every piece of content that comes out after the raid that is supposed to help you with the raid is lower item level. I don't understand it. By the time that the new content comes out that's supposed to help you with the raid tier is already deader than dead. Basically, you would have more people do this trial if it dropped a Biss.
Maybe, you know, this is a hot take, chat. Maybe they should start doing that. Maybe they should start doing that. Maybe they should put a very good item as a reward for the extreme trial, and 1 item per tier you want to get from the trial. I don't know. Maybe they should. Maybe they should give you a reason to fucking do it. Like, beyond 1 time for progression and for the mount. I don't know. That I'm not necessarily against that.
You would have more people.
Only Ultimate Glammy likes Uwu and top. I respect that.
This 24.
I will say the best looking ones, the best looking weapons are top. I mean, come on. They change from one form to another. If you don't think that's the coolest weapon, I mean, I don't know what to say to you.
That's supposed to help you with the raid tier is already deader than dead. Basically, you would have more people do this trial if it dropped a Biss. You would have more people do this 24-man if it dropped Biss accessories. This would also be amazing for ults. So even if you had... Jesus, man.
And then you could spread the chest pieces and the legs and other pieces of loot out over the other fights without having to worry about saturating your initial fights with accessory drops. Zeems figured it out, bro. his big ass shiny fucking headed brain in there, he figured it out. You make Biss come from other pieces of content like Criterion, Alliance Raid, Extreme Trial, and then you give the main pieces like your chest piece, your legs, your helmet, your weapon from Savage, okay? How about first boss drops helmet, okay? Second boss drops legs, third boss chest, fourth boss weapon, okay? And then in the Alliance Raid, it drops your Biss accessory for your necklace and your wrist, okay? And then the Extreme drops your ring and your earring or something like that. That way, all content is relevant. You have to do all different types of content and you don't feel like it's a waste of your time. And then, you know what, dude? Just drop item upgrades. Just delete those from the game. Okay, get that out of here. The item upgrade system fucking sucks anyways. Just give us gear, get rid of the upgrade bullshit. We don't need any of that dumb shit. Stop giving me coins. Fuck it. Stop giving me shines. Stop giving me twines. I don't want any of that bullshit, okay? Just give me the gear. Let me do the fight. Let me get some more gear. Go do more fights. More gear. Like, just... just give me some stuff. And not make me wait 6 weeks to get my chest piece or whatever. It's just crazy. They don't even have to add anything new. Just make it drop the Savage books. You can get gear upgrades, whatever you want. Why is the gear UI so fucked up on vendors?
I've already said all this.
Because the UI in this game is fucked up, okay? Look, it's my first like Japanese designed MMO, like by any stretch, and the menus in this game are terrible, especially the friends list, okay? That thing needs to be given CPR and resuscitated from death because it is terrible. It is absolutely garbanzo beans, belongs in the fucking trash over there, dude. It's so bad. You shouldn't be able to play a game for 6 years, open up your character interface panel, and still be finding new weird shit. You gotta type in a certain command to make the thing happen. Like, no. It just should not be a thing.
I've already said all this, man. I've been saying this for years, man. Yeah, okay, anyway.
Red hair?
I don't wanna
Yeah,
loop too
true.
much. So I'm just gonna tell you things that I hope that is in this patch that's not gonna be. I hope that this gear
FC menu's
is equivalent
bad,
to
too.
raid gear because it'll help you for 2 ways. Well, it'll help you for more. I'm just gonna list some. It's
Akuri, I think that you and I, listen, I'm gonna back you on this. Akuri. One of the best parts of World of Warcraft is its user interface. Okay, maybe not UI. The UI itself does not look better. What I mean to say is the utility of it. Yeah, the function. So like, okay, so in World of Warcraft, for instance, if you pick up a piece of gear and you can equip it, it will save the appearance of that piece of gear into your collection log. And as long as you don't trade that gear to someone else or sell it too soon, then you will have the look of that gear permanently without having to keep the item. The collection tab. You have one collection tab for all your pets, all your mounts, and your transmog. You have a menu that comes up and then 3 different tabs that are easily sorted through. It's very clear, it's very friendly on the eyes. And then, so this wouldn't be UI, but this would be like server systems and stuff, I would say. Cross-realm, like friends listing and like cross-data center friends listing because of battle.net is like far superior to anything in this game. To be able to add someone's BattleNet and see them on any account or any character rather under that account that they log into, so I can easily invite them to my groups without having to add separate characters and separate realms and transfer this fucking server to that fucking server and fucking go here for this data center, yada, yada, yada. You just invite them and it just works. It's like what Todd Howard says about Bethesda games. It just works, except it does. Those types of systems are much better. As far as, okay, so I take it back on what I mean by UI. So that was a poor choice of words. So UI isn't the word that I mean to use. It definitely would be UX, more the experience and the back-end server stuff, you know? Like, it's such good QOL that I really wish that we could have it because the game would be, to me, it just stands out as like a glaring thing that is like just significantly worse than World of Warcraft. And I hate to say that because there's not many things that are like that. Trust me. There's really not. But in this case, it's really hard for me to get over like the glamour dresser and limited space. Even with 800 spaces, I'm running out. You know, that's crazy. And glamour plates fucking suck. Even though they doubled the amount that we could have, it's still not enough. The armoire is a fucking waste of space. There's some opportunity for this game that I don't think is easy things to change. Don't get me wrong. I know that there's a lot of back-end coding and there's a reason and 1.0 and spaghetti code and blah, 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 blah. I know. But there comes a time, I think, where like as a player where, you know, you pay $15 a month for so long and you just kind of get to a point where you're like, you know, I can excuse it, but you know, there's millions of people that have been subbing and doing all these things. Like when are we going to move past this old dated, 2013 system? You know, when are we going to be able to break free of those bonds? And I don't know. I just wish that we could have it because it's just so good.
Gonna help you for alts. Here's the second thing. It's gonna help combat the garbage awful tome cap. Another thing is it's gonna help new players get access to the raid. Think about this. You have a greater chance of getting more raid pieces than you do like this piece, right? Because you can only get one of these pieces per week. But in the raid, let's say
you could technically get
clear the
four.
first turn and you get lucky. You can get 2 to 3
Oh, you could get
pieces,
2 to 3, yeah, on one boss.
4, whatever. So
True.
the fact that you can only get one of these per week, this should
less
be raid equivalent. It'll also help you with Criterion if you're gonna do that. So there's multiple.
And it's fucked because he says if you're gonna do that. It sucks because the idea should be, it should come out when you decide to do that, right? Not if you're gonna do it, in my opinion, because like I said, the content is good. You just need a reason to do it, right? It's fucked up that Zeems even has to say, as from a rating perspective, if you're gonna do it. Bro, talk about some of the most DOA content ever.
Multiple ways. There's literally no downside to this.
And to clarify, we are not talking about variant. I think all of us here, people don't complain about variant. Variant's fine. All the different paths are fine. It's more casual. That's fine, okay? The mount that you get from the collection, awesome, okay? No one is complaining about that. It's just the step up. Why go to Criterion? Why? Why bother? That's the question that needs to be answered.
Here.
Neon the Bomb, thank you very much. I feel better now. I got my mask back. Thanks for all the insights and content, Pyro. Thanks, Neon the Bomb.
Now I got my mask.
Oh, well, thanks
for all the
Zeems here. Let me link this video, by the way. This is a new video. Guys, when videos first drop, it's really important that when you check it out, that you give it a like and that you watch it all the way through. If you just watch the first 30 seconds, like it and click off, that doesn't help the streamer too much or the YouTube content creator too much. It's free, it's easy, like it, let it play on mute in the background, because the more full playthroughs that this video gets, the more likely it is to be recommended over here. Did you guys know that? When people just watch for 30 seconds, dip out, it hurts this video's chance to appear over here. That's how this fucking algorithm works. So show some love, show a like, let it play in the background on mute, and that way we're not just fucking stealing content.
Not being raid equivalent. Not 5 item levels lower, not 2 item levels lower, literally raid equivalent.
Yep.
This should give you raid equivalent gear. Because at this
Mute
point
the tab,
in
not the
cycle,
video UI.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This should be raining raid gear, okay? For those of you that have raided, it's already hard enough to get gear. Even if you're in a fucking static, it's hard enough to get gear because the gearing in this game is so slow. So that's what they should do with this. With this, the last time we asked...
Dude, chat, he's cooking. You guys smell it? Do you smell what the Zeems is cooking?
For Savage Dungeon.
Do you smell?
They gave us Criterion, so I'm hesitant to say...
he wasn't bald.
Just
No, The
make
Rock wasn't
expert
bald
harder.
initially.
Okay, that's it. Just literally make expert just
Remember, he used to have that flat top. He used to have that like almost like a racer top type shit, like Carlton. He had that look for a bit, The Rock did. Then he went bald. He wasn't always bald.
They should do with this. With this, the last time we asked for Savage Dungeons, they gave us criterion, so I'm hesitant to say, just make Expert harder. Okay, that's it. Just literally make Expert just a little harder, okay? Or, you know what, keep it the same.
Expert Dungeons would be sick.
You can upgrade to. You know what they should do, actually? They should give you 2 versions. The normal Expert and the Savage Expert. And the Savage Expert should give you like 4 times the amount of tomes. I'd fucking do that.
Same.
Just for the tomes. All right?
Same. Yo, yes, dude. Harder content that's more rewarding for tomestones. Yes, dude. Give me a weekly thing, even if it's like a dungeon, where like if I go through and clear it on Expert or Savage, give me like half my tomes, right? Because if the difficulty and time investment is roughly equivocal to another amount of time in investment in a different activity, then reward me as such, right? If I'm gonna do harder content, give me more tomes as a result.
Anyway, this Primal should stop dropping weapons. Just stop it. Stop dropping weapons.
Trials to stop dropping weapons. Okay, I'm curious where he takes this.
Or if you're gonna drop a weapon, that can be fine, but drop Abyss accessory. You know, drop a ring, a necklace.
Dude, I really love this take. I really like this take. Because this reminds me a little bit of WoW structure for like Mythic Plus, where if you do a certain level Mythic Plus, the gear that you get is gonna be your BIS. It didn't come from the raid. It was a trinket you could only get from this dungeon, right? I don't mind that. I don't mind that. I like gear hunting. I like BIS hunting. I do.
Drop the whole fucking...
If it's rewarding and varied, but if I just have to do the same 4 fucking fights over and over and over, then I don't want to fucking do it. I don't know.
Stop dropping weapons. Or if you're gonna drop a weapon, that can be fine, but drop Abyss accessory. You know, drop a ring, a necklace, drop the whole fucking loot table.
And then just have it drop the crafting items so that you can make... You know what? I'd be okay with that too. Fuck it, dude. Make the weapons, and even if they drop the weapon, you know, just... I love the RP aspect of making a weapon out of the remains of a boss, though. Well, that's what I was just about to say. Still make it so they can still drop the thing. And, yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about that more, but yeah.
BIS accessories, man. They don't have to
make
be
it work.
BIS, but drop a raid equivalent accessory. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be best in slot stats. Just make it eye level equivalent.
Drop it. They used to do it in the past. It was amazing. They should do it again. All of the benefits of doing this are the same as the benefits I mentioned above.
Wait. They used to do that? Chat, fill me in here. They used to do this? In ARR, from the extremes, you could get earrings and shit. Okay, chat, you're probably not going to hear me say this very much, though I love A Realm Reborn. There's not many things that I want to see taken from A Realm Reborn and brought back. That's one of them. What? They still do. EX1 trial drops accessories. Right, but they're not good. So it's like, we're only getting half of the result, you know? It drops, but it fucking sucks. So you probably won't want it. You will, but as soon as you kill P1S or 1S and you get the accessory, then it's completely irrelevant, isn't it? Because once you get that, then like, it's, okay, see ya.
And there's no downside to you doing this. I'm just getting it all out of my system, okay? This, I feel like you should be able to farm fox leaves. Why not? Or if for some reason people have an issue with that, I don't know, give this another reason to do more than once a week. Give Unreal a reason. It doesn't have to be an important reason. Maybe like every time you clear an Unreal, you get like 10 leaves or something. And all this is fine.
What if the harder content would drop mats to incentivize BIS gear crafting? I think that anyone that is primarily a raider and not a crafter would lose their fucking mind.
Fine. Free trial, starter edition expansion. All this is fine. Okay, there. I got it all out of my system. I talked about it.
And then you essentially you almost kind of restrict one type of content's reward for engaging in a completely other type of content, which I'm not sure is a good idea. I think crafted raid gear is already a problem. I totally agree with you. I thought it was a hot take earlier, and maybe it is, but what else would they do though? What else do you give crafters? You have to give crafters more. You have to give crafters more cosmetic shit.
As you can tell, I've talked about it before. See, you guys are dumb. You guys want these changes, but when I talk about these changes, all you guys do is just spam the stupidest shit in the chat. You know why I think that you spam stupid shit in the chat?
It's so true.
It's because you like to impress each other. You like to make each other laugh. Okay? You like to see which one of you can spam the dumber thing. And I know some of you spam this shit because people on YouTube see it. You know, I've had people ask about the chat lore before. I've had people like hesitantly ask, what's wind bins?
Come in the gotcha-gasm, dude. Oh my god. Yo, shout out to the Zeem's viewers. The Zeem's chatters are undefeated. Never lost. No, I mean, I think it's a... I really agree with a lot of what he said, man. The gearing in this game is something that I have long felt just unsatisfied with, but not necessarily sure how to put into words. And I think Zeems did a good job there of putting to words a lot of the things that I've kind of feel. And I think a lot of that comes from, like, you know, like the Alliance raid gear. I only get it because of the glamour. Like, I don't get it because it's actually useful at all. You know, I just get it because it looks cool. So that's an example right there of just like, I mean, the gear itself is not necessarily useful. It's just the look. And even then, there's areas for disappointment in that you can't dye the, you know, certain highlights and stuff, at least right now. Zeems has been refining his gear rant for many years. That doesn't give me a lot of hope, unfortunately, because, you know, it's not like streamers just tell Square Enix what to do, or anything like that, but like, at the same time, like, there's no way that they don't in some capacity hear the opinions of these people. Like, there's no way. Like, Zeems is big enough and influential enough in the community, and I would say to an extent, you know, even in the past, you know, I wouldn't say now, but in the past, you know, I maybe would have been able to say the same thing about myself, where like, if enough eyes get on it, there's just no way that that someone there doesn't see it or hear it. So I hope that the feedback, at least to an extent, gets to someone, because I think it's valuable feedback. You think devs' approach of not keeping the player around, yeah man, take a break, come back later, no problem, is biting their own foot? You don't need to grind anymore. All the latest content can be done in one day. People are not playing the game. I think that it is biting them a little bit, but I also think that it's a very annoyingly convenient thing for players to say. Oh, it's so fucking annoying. Every time someone's like, I don't feel good about playing the game, I don't feel a lot of incentive to play it or any reason really to play it, and then you get the response, that canned fucking chat bot fucking response of, well, you know, Yoshi P does want you to take breaks from the game. And it's like such a straw man, annoying fucking argument, because it's like, yeah, no shit. And that's such a great moral high ground to establish by saying that, but that doesn't help me feel better about wanting to play the game. So I don't fucking care. You know, it's it's such a stupid ass take, because it's like, oh, just play something else. And like Zeppla said in her video, she's like, yeah, I have been. In fact, I've been playing a lot of other games and not investing time into yours. And as I've told you guys, this is the first time ever where my sub lapsed, where my sub literally canceled, and I had to renew it, you know, redo it, because I just, you know, it is what it is. Like, so when you say like, yeah, go play other games, the thing where I disagree is Zeppla said, well, the people, they're not coming back. I don't agree with that. That's not true. I think many of us will come back. But is that only for 4 days, 5 days after patch launch? Is it only for 2 weeks after the expansion launch? Because if it is, then that's the problem, right? That's what people are more focusing about. Yeah, it's great while people are around, but if it's not, then it kind of sucks. It's not a good feeling. It's not a good situation. You don't have people to play with, you don't have people to hang out with. You log in, there's no one in the fucking FC online. Game will be alive for like 1 to 2 weeks at the 6.5 drop, then again at 6.55. Yeah, unfortunately, you're true. And it is healthy to take breaks and stuff, yes. But again, there's a difference between wanting to take a break because you think the game's boring and, you know, not fun to play, and wanting to take a break because you just want to have a break from the game because you play it too much. Those are two very different things. So, but let me say this. Is the game dead? Is the game dying? No. That is so stupid. I used to play, let me tell you something. If RuneScape can put in the evolution of combat and not die, then it's literally impossible for 14 or World of Warcraft for that matter to kill themselves. Trust me, dude. Trust me. I've never seen the complete and total alienation of over half your fucking player base to that extent before. Jagex is insane for what they did, and people still play the game somehow. So if you can manage that, then this game's not dying. Look at this. Look at how many fucking people there are. Look at how many fucking people there are. Dead game, Lamau, good one, dude. Fucking good one. There's tons of people here, and I'm not even on a highly populated server. There's so many people they can't even load in. That's pretty dead compared to my server. Exactly, and this isn't even dead. This isn't even dead. That's what I'm trying to say. This is Diablos on Crystal. Go somewhere besides Limsa though. Okay. Let's go to Gridania. Yeah, see? All these people standing at the Aetheryte. Lots of people. Cat girls sweeping each other up and shit. This is the content we all live for, isn't it? This is why we play FF. I mean, come on. How long till they notice me? Nice. This is the FF content we all want. God damn.